this video, we're going to be doing basically the same thing that we've been doing with division. So we're going to be dividing our dividend with a divisor that is 1 or 2 digits. But when we get our answer, we're going to have to interpret that remainder. And to interpret simply means that we are going to think about what that remainder means and how it should affect our true answer. Let's go ahead and dive into these 4 problems. I'm going to do the first 2 for you, and then the last 2 you'll do on your own. This first one says the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania is 235 miles long. If Paul hikes 9 miles a day, how many days will he hike exactly 9 miles? Now that exactly is really important, so I'm going to go ahead and circle it. We're looking for how many days he will hike exactly 9 miles. Not any leftover, not any shorter, not any more. So let's go ahead and divide. We're going to say 235 miles divided by 9 miles a day. I know that 9 can't go into 2, so I'm going to put an X. I know some of you put zeros, X's. It doesn't matter as long as you put something there to hold your place. Now I'm going to say how many times, you know what I should do? Does McDonald's sell burgers? Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. There we go. How many times can 9 go into 23? My 9s. I know that 9 times 2 is 18. And I know I can't go any bigger than that. So it goes in 2 times. Now we're going to multiply. 2 times 9 is 18. Time to subtract. Bring that over. 13 minus 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is 5. Time to bring it down. Bring down that other 5. 55. Okay, so I know that 9 times 5 is 45. So that means 9 times 6 is 54. So 9 times 6 multiply is 54. If I subtract, I've got 1 left over. So typically, you would just say your answer is 26, remainder 1. But if we go back and look at that question, it's asking you how many days we hike exactly 9 miles. So if I reread my problem the way I've written it, I have 235 miles divided by 9 miles a day would get me 26 days at exactly 9 miles. And I'm going to have 1 mile remainder. So maybe he hikes only 1 mile on the 27th day, or maybe he, pushes it and makes it 10 miles one day. But the question is asking us, how many days will he hike exactly 9 miles? And our answer is 26, just 26. He will hike 9 miles a day for 26 days. Perfect. Let's go on to the next one. A sporting goods store is going to ship 1,252 sleeping bags. Each shipping carton will hold 8 sleeping bags. How many cartons are needed to ship all of the bags? That means we can't have a remainder. If we're shipping all of them, they all have to go. So we're going to go ahead and divide 1,252 sleeping bags divided by 8 cartons. So let's divide. I know that 8 can't go into 1, so I'm going to put my X. 8 into 12. I know that 8 times 1 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16, so it can only go in 1 time. Let's multiply. 8 times 1 is 8. And let's subtract 12 minus 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. I like to count up. That works better for my brain. Time to bring down the 5. Make sure you only bring the 5, not the 5 and the 2. We bring down one number at a time. 8 into 45. How many times can 8 go into 45? I know that 8 times 5 is 40, so it's 5 times. 5 times 8 is 40. Now we get to subtract. There's a 5. Bring on down that 2. I like to draw the arrows. It helps my mind realize what I've brought down and what I haven't. 8 into 52. I know that 8 times 8 is 64, and that's too much. But I know that 6 times 8 is 48, so it's 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Let's subtract. 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 left over. All right. I want you to take a look at this and decide what your answer is going to be after you reread that problem. After you reread the problem, you should know that we're dividing 1,252 sleeping bags by 8 sleeping bags in each carton. So it would take 156 full cartons to ship the bags, but there would be 4 bags left over. And you can't leave any sleeping bags. You have to ship them all. So it would take us 157 cartons to ship all of the sleeping bags. Let's remember how I got that. It would take 156 cartons to ship most of them, but we would have to leave 4. You can't leave any because it says ship all of them. So we have to bump it up to 1 more carton. That's only going to be half full, but that's okay. Your answer is 157. Let's look at the next one. Dylan's hiking club is staying overnight in a lodge. Each room can hold 15 people. There are 154 people. How many rooms will they need? That's a lot of people in a hiking club. Let's go ahead and say 154 people divided by 15 people per room. Go ahead and divide that out using your Does McDonald's Sell Burgers? And let me know what you get. All right, for this one, I know that 15 can't go into 1, some of my X. 15 can go into 15 one time. 1 times 15 is 15. Subtract, I get 0. Bring down that 4, and I have 15 into 4. I know that you can't say how many times will 15 go into 4, so it's a 0. 0 times 15 is 0, and there's a remainder of 4. Now it's time to interpret that remainder. If we know that each room can hold 15 people, there are 154 people, everybody must have a room. How many rooms do they actually need? For this one, you should have said 11 because 10 rooms could hold 150 people, but there's 154. You can't let these poor 4 people sleep out in the rain. You have to put them in a lodge. So you would need an extra room, 11 rooms to hold those 4 leftover people. Let's move on to the very, very last one. 123 students going on a field trip. Each bus will hold 38 students. All of the buses are full except one. How many students will be on the bus that is not full? Go ahead, solve it. Let me know what your answer is, and then we'll interpret it. For this one, you should have done 123 students divided by 38 students per bus. So I know 38 can't go into 1. I know 38 can't go into 2, so it looks like I'm going to have to write my multiples. 38 times 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 38 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. So I know I've got 76 and 114. I'm not going to get any bigger than that. So my answer is 3. 3 times 38 is 114. Let's subtract. 13 minus 4. 12, 11, 10, 9. So I hope you got 3 remainder 9. Now let's interpret it. So if each bus can hold 38 students, we have 3 full buses, which is great. Remember, the question asks us, how many students will be on the bus that is not full? So I know there'll be 3 full buses with 38 students on each bus. That last bus is only going to have 9 students on it because 9 was our remaining number of students that did not fit on the other 3 buses. So I hope you got 9 as your answer. That last one was a little bit tricky. You might have said 4 because they would need 4 buses, but it doesn't ask you that. It asks you how many students will be on the bus that is not full. Little bit tricky. Hope you wrote your notes down correctly, fix anything you got wrong, and get started on that classwork.